welcome. Thanks, Liz.
We
can just start with, I think people are gonna continue to come on in here, but we can start with bucket fills. Anybody have any bucket fills, something good? My grandson turns 1 on the 15th.
Yeah.
My very first grandson.
Next week, right?
Next week, yeah, Monday or Sunday.
Sunday.
So that's kind of fun. So I got his package shipped to Okinawa. Just waiting for it to get there.
You said your very first. Is there another one coming?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I just didn't know if
My first and only. So that's something kind of cool.
That'd be fun news though.
only have one. That'd be close.
That would be. Oh, yes. What is it, Jackie?
I just now got the Secretary of State's office and I want to see that's registered.
Yay! That is nice job.
Yeah, I have no idea how it's going.
All that.
I haven't heard from them. So
Oh.
I was like,
I think it takes a little bit of time.
so I
So
filled it in, so it's not good.
nice. And everyone should have their LLCs or some type of business. Anything else? Bucket fill, something good?
You just look at each other.
How many people?
I love it.
I did see Tony walking over to Whole Foods, and then like 1 minute behind him, all of a sudden I see Jacob walk into Whole Foods. I text Tony and I'm like, Jacob's right behind you.
Oh, yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, I ran into him in there.
Yeah.
It was so nice out.
It was, yeah. I think, someone else walked over, but I couldn't, yeah, I thought it was,
Nice.
but I wasn't 100% sure on Alex. I'm like, I better not say anything on Alex. I'm like, Heather, it is 4 stories. It can be someone that's not with your office. Anything else, you guys? No, nothing good. We've received tons of trust funds. So I know you guys are writing offers because Lydia and I have seen a lot of trust funds come in. So that seems pretty cool. Our calendar. So coming up the rest of this week is Kami leading How to Net 100,000. Next tomorrow at 10 a.m. It goes with the systems and models through the MREA book. So if you guys, it's a great class, and if you haven't read MREA in a while, feel free to check it out and read through it again. It's always nice. We have our Popcorn Fridays, The Luck of the Irish. Never seen it.
It sure is.
Is it what?
It's a Disney Channel original movie.
Ooh, should be fun. Next week for team meeting, we're going to do our numbers and have our happy hour, which is at the Muni. Always fun in Wayzata. So feel free, Rick sometimes, or doesn't sometimes, Rick usually has a topic if we want to have some real estate stuff to discuss. And remember, we changed that to 3 to 5. So, everyone that needs to get home for dinner can still sneak out to happy hour now.
It is St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah.
It's on automatic.
So maybe there'll be some green beer there or something. It should be fun. All right. And,
Then we go. Well, I can talk about this.
okay.
So, Wednesday, March 18th is our last, book club meeting for this book. I think like a month. So, if you haven't read it yet, there's still time to pick it up and finish it. I have a couple of copies in my office. And then it'd be really fun to just talk about this book. If you also saw him at family reunion and didn't read the book, but just want to come and like talk about it, I'd love to have you join us as well. So
I don't have my notes on me. You had some really great things.
yeah,
to
well,
say
you have to come next week.
at, yeah, family reunion.
So, and then next, starting in April, we'll have a different book for the next quarter.
Awesome.
Oh, I have notes on this.
Oh.
He said he was running late. So Eric, with Supreme Lending sent this out. They do a March Madness party, like Supreme Lending hosts it. So it's kind of a big do at Park Tavern. So lots of people will be there. Games start so it's watching the game. Start at 11 a.m. They do have different raffles, 50-50. They have bowling, they have prize drawings, and those start at 4. If you scan the QR codes here, the one is to fill out your bracket if you want to participate. The other one is to register for the event. They are raising money for St. Jude. That is more information on that.
Fun.
Yeah. That's kind of
Parks.
always fun. Oh, yeah, talk about this too. So this is just kind of a mark your calendar type situation. On April 8th, we have Pillar to Post joining us for CE. And then on the 15th, the following Wednesday, we have branch property inspections, and they are doing 2 different CEs for us for 2 hours. So 3 hours of CE coming in April.
So if you don't have your CE done, you guys, you've got to come to this. It's free CE. It's at the office. It's convenient. They're both usually really good.
Yeah.
Get some good information out of it. So please, if you don't have your CE done, we'd love to see you there.
I'll also put on our Facebook page and then email it out in the recap with Lydia. But the person who came to do the required module for us is also invited agents who couldn't come to that day. She is hosting it, I think it's in Bloomington, on the 23rd of March. So if you haven't done the required module and you want to get it for free, she did open it up to our office so that our agents can go there too, which is awesome. And I'll send that information out on how to register for that. You would need to register for it and under our office so that she doesn't charge you for it. But she did open that up for us, so that's great.
I have a question about CE. Yeah, are you gonna have anything with the agent or fair housing?
We do not have anything scheduled. So you can get that one for free through the Minnesota Realtors. It's a 2-hour online read this page type class. But it is free for all members through the Minnesota Realtors Association. So, yep.
And that's mandatory. That's required.
That is required. Yep.
Ron.
I missed the happy hour. I don't know if
Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing it again.
We said that Rob would have a topic.
There's a contest we'll add.
Flyer.
There's a contest we're gonna add to this because we're going to Baja House because it's got surfboards and beach things.
Not the Muni.
What the hell?
You're gonna be a Baja by yourself.
You picked Baja House, but it doesn't open till 4.
Because Muni doesn't open in time.
No, Baja House doesn't open on time.
Okay, so I'll come up with a new contest because this is a tropical outfit contest.
Oh.
That doesn't work very well at the Muni. I mean, wear a flannel, dress like Milton to go to the Muni. I'll come up with a new one. I'll let you know. Okay, whoever can look the most like Milton at the Muni gets 1 free drink and 1 free appetizer from the Brahma Real Estate Group. That's the contest. There you go.
I don't know what Jacob Milton looks like.
It's gonna be tropical.
Yeah. There you go. So sticking with the Muni, 3 to 5.
You know, there's something about this business where attention to detail is not important, just so you know.
That's why you have profile.
About it.
A little hard for you.
I know. I have wigs.
Okay.
Any CEs, that CE units that we get here, are they reported to, I mean, how does this get?
They report it to the,
Yeah, the people who provide it report it to the state.
Okay.
and then it just takes a few days. You see it updated in Pulse Portal under when you check your CE credits, how many you've done.
If you have any questions about that, you can come check in.
I can do that too. I'm gonna win.
Charity of the month, we stuck with the same as last month.
So the March charity, we're still supporting our Twin Cities community. However, we are just looking for donations that can be dropped off at the office here. It continues to update. So if you have any questions, you're like, I'm gonna go to the store, you can always let us know. These are kind of some rolling ideas on what are good to drop off here. So we are looking for charities. So some people, there's a form. You do have to submit it through the form. So if you have a charity that you want us to support, please do fill out the form so that we can make sure that we look at your.
And if you've emailed one of us, just please be sure to scan that and send your charity through there. So then we can get it logged in correctly and everything like that. So. Oh, you want to talk about it, Brett Tanner?
You want me to just gush over Brett Tanner? So I've had the opportunity to listen to Brett Tanner speak at a couple different things. He also does have a podcast called Be Wealthy. He is just super smart about investing your money into real estate and then beyond that, so he just has like a lot of great information in building wealth. He is also one of our top people within the wealth community of Keller Williams. And so Derek is a good person to chat with too. He's had a lot of up close, like one-on-one opportunities to chat with Brett Tanner and just about like what that looks like to continue to build your wealth. And so he's going to be in town here on the 23rd of April. And it's at the Maple Grove Market Center. So sometimes these things are held where hundreds of people can go. This is not one of those. So if you want to go see him, I would say definitely sign up sooner rather than later so that you can go and hear from Brett Tanner.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right. We are scheduled to talk about the vision speech and go through the slides today. It's something that Kimi is very passionate about and has a lot of knowledge about. I just went and asked Ben for assistance because he was at the vision speech with me, and I thought maybe the two of us could get it started. Do you mind?
Sounds wonderful.
I think it sounds wonderful too. So, and the vision speech, if you haven't been to family reunion, it's the very first speech done by Gary.
Yeah,
Yep, so Gary opens up family reunion
Yes.
with this, and this is kind of, it's the vision of real estate, what he predicts to happen
Right.
in the upcoming year, going over some stuff, some slides in the past.
Right, checking out the history for the last, 30 years.
Yeah.
Since Keller Williams started, so.
Talks a lot about mortgage rates and things like that. So let's get started.
Let's do it. All righty.
So here's what the numbers, what Gary goes over: home sales, home prices, total market volume, inventory, mortgage rates, and affordability. Okay, so home sales. So Gary, I cannot be Gary. Right?
Well, though, you're doing great.
But he does like to go back. And what Gary really likes to point out, and Ben, do you agree with that? He says, look how high it used to be. We are really right in the home sales, or no, this is home sales. I was thinking it's mortgage
Right,
rate.
yep, this is number of sales volume, or yes, number of sales in units, I think.
Yep.
And, yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be the highest in the last 4 years here, so that'll be nice. That's still competitive out
And
there.
I think he sees that he's projecting it to go up a little bit in 2026.
Mhm. Home sales here for.
Just
the
seasonal
year.
adjustment, just showing the months, with the seasonality, I think is all he's really. Yeah,
Which was interesting to see. December was actually a pretty good month there. But generally, May, June tend to be some of the higher months.
we see that too in October. We see a little spike in October too sometimes. So, yep, okay.
Home prices.
This is a
Going
fun
up.
one.
I thought this was a really cool one when he was talking about it, because he was talking just a lot about the trend line, right? And that before that, you can see in like 2008, we were well under that trend line, and now then we kind of went above it, right? And so now they're predicting that it's going to get closer to that trend line as you see it kind of swing up into 26, 27. And so people talk about like, oh, prices are so high, that type of thing, but actually we're not terribly above like where the trend line is. It's just that we were below it, coming out of the 08 area. So I think that's kind of what he really spoke to about this, is that now we're starting to kind of regulate ourselves, get it closer to that trend line. Is that what you guys?
Is that what you see?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, home prices are continuing to go up, and that's kind of what's expected this year as well.
Well, it was interesting when you made the comment of like, even if you bought above the trend line in 05, 06, you wouldn't regret it today. If you still would have been on track with it. I thought that was an interesting perspective.
Gary does say, always hold on to your real estate. It's gonna come back up.
Right.
Anything happens, it's gonna come back up.
And that really spoke to, they were like, oh, if you bought, above that, where the trend line is in 2020, you're still like, it tends to still kind of, go up with that. So, you know, buy real estate and wait, right, is what the case.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I always like to share that one with my people to be like, no, it is a good investment.
Let's see, home prices, annual appreciation, so we're looking at nationally a 2%. A 2%.
Ben, do you know what the state is?
I mean, typically we're around 4%. Last year was 4 for Minnesota. InfoSparks.
4%?
Yeah, appreciation, that's the calculation we generally use. Let's see, home prices appreciation historical, looks like the last one here was, yeah, just under 4%. But it fluctuates.
Right?
Ahead to the next one, maybe. One more. Sorry, I don't. So, okay, go back to the home prices, but he did make a speech, like, talked about how home prices and inflation, if you could like overlay them on top of each other, so that one will be coming up. And we're not gonna get through all the slides, this is like a 2.5 hour speech, but,
Inventory. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, so I mean, we're still low on inventory. So we've got a trend line here in terms of what is a balanced market. And so we're clearly still on the seller's side of it being a seller's market. Once we hit here and have 6 months of inventory, that's what's considered a balanced market, according to Gary and just the market in general. So, which depending on what market you're in, it feels different, right? If it's a $2 million house versus a $300,000 house, this looks different.
I mean, it seems like it's been a long time.
Right, oh, yeah, it's been a
Yeah.
seller's market, it's for, I can believe here, yeah, right.
I've never been in a seller's market or a buyer's market.
Did you say you ever have been?
Oh, I don't know, 2011.
Oh.
I've never been in this market.
It's a totally different game.
Is it totally different? I mean, yeah, home prices are a lot more competitive.
Right, yeah, in fact, you're not competing, you get big inspection contingencies, you get concessions. But I mean, there's different parts of the market right now that you're potentially able to get that in as well. So it just kind of depends on that hyper-focused market, right?
I feel like we've been in the buyer's market more now than we ever have.
Right now, you think, Shane?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And I think
sorry, because of what you're seeing as far as offers and that type of thing.
Yeah, I think like contingent offers are getting accepted. There's a lot of buyers out there, but I feel like motivation that's high. So you're showing a lot of homes, but how many people are just sitting on the fence and not doing anything? So I feel like, not as many multiple offer situations. They're still there for the unicorn properties, but
Those ones are flying in multiples then.
right, and those will always fly in multiples. Like you go look in Minnetonka between 700 and 1 million, there's nothing, and everything that comes on sells at 10 offers. But that's just a micro market. But in general, I feel like it's more of a buyer's market, and the numbers say that.
you want to say something, Rick?
Yeah, I agree mostly. There's to do with one caveat is that there's some of that is seasonality. Because right now there's the sellers that have their houses on the market. If there's obviously not as many buyers on the market right now because 50% of them are going to wait until their kids are going to be out of school when they close, which happens like next month, end of April and May, when that whole entire market of buyers is gonna be out there looking. And so now I think there's just a lot. The sellers are in a position where if they do get an offer, whether it be contingent or it's just not as much competition right now. So the seller is a little bit more willing to make adjustments. Less buyers, it's just less altogether. I think it's gonna start cranking.
Yeah. Cool. Mortgage rates, I think, are always fun. I mean, it's always so interesting to look at that.
Right, in terms of the average, you've got the historical average is this one here, from 72 to 23. And then this one's from 90 to 23.
Sort of feel like that's skewed though. Like
if you take out up until the year 2000, like that average line, I mean, we're really looking at more relatable from 50 years ago. Like, I mean, let's be honest, like cut that in half.
And so it looks like he projected to go down a little in 26.
Yeah, likely staying around kind of what we're at now.
I like to show that to buyers, just saying it's only that one time that they were low.
Right.
That
So it's
entire
artificial.
history, has never been like that. Yep.
I mean, this is great compared to the 13.5% I paid for. Right.
Oh, for sure.
At the same time, that's a lifetime for some people, right? I mean, that's a long time too,
It's all
right?
relative.
Yes, I mean, at 4%, that's a lifetime.
And I think, do you guys encourage your sellers that have these low interest rates? Do you guys encourage them to keep the houses and turn them into investment properties,
It
or?
depends on their goals and the cash flow. With taxes and insurance so high and the risk that comes with some of them, we kind of weigh out the pros and the cons.
You guys want me to take over, or
Sure, yeah.
you guys want to keep chatting?
Morning, Jamie.
Thanks, Ben. We've been
Yeah,
having
thanks,
so much
Heather.
fun. I was saying how passionate you are
I'm sure you
about
have.
this, and
I'm sure.
we did our best, Amy.
You guys aren't talking, did they not talk?
No, everyone's joined in.
Oh, okay.
Everyone's been joining in.
So where'd we leave off?
Interest rates.
I mean, in what kind of conversation?
We were just kind of moving on to the next slide and saying, the history. It's just, there's that one-time loan.
So let's chat about that a little bit. So when you look at the interest rates, right, where were we at? Well, the last time it was, I mean, price points in 16, all the way through 22. I mean, interest rates are higher than they've been in quite some time, right? Like what's the feedback on that? I mean, we just had an appointment the other day.
From clients?
Yeah, from clients.
I think right now people have been sitting at 6 and 7% for a while, and they're okay with starting.
Well, it's like normalized now.
Yeah, that's why I think people are ready to go.
What's it mean for affordability though? And what do you think it's gonna do with price points? I mean, because that's the real thing, right? Like interest rates can be wherever they want to be, but that it shifts price points, it shifts affordability, it shifts what they're approved for.
I still think families that are in, their second home, I would say.
Yeah. Because of it, because they're locked in at whatever they're locked in at, and
Yeah, still too.
there's not a need large enough to deal with the financial difference, right? Anyone else feel differently? I'm like, no, not at all.
I think there's a lot of pressure on the market from the lack of movement through the 2 to 3 years of COVID. And I think that's pushing people to find alternative ways to, make it work to buy and sell. And I think we need to be on top of that, especially with the lenders, different programs that they have. The builders are doing all kinds of things. It's, a lot of times, obviously, it's built into the price of what they're selling.
Yeah.
Pretty much every builder right now is offering interest rates in the 4s, new construction. So it's pretty easy to do, as part of their incentive.
That's with a $40,000 buy down. I just had one.
Yeah.
So you get that.
Okay, but what does that, I mean, are people willing to do that?
Depends on how long you're gonna be in the house. This is the financial planning conversation.
Yeah,
Okay.
just working the numbers. I also had a situation that had never come across before, extremely unique. A parent has got, you've got a successful parent. They had an account with a large financial institution, and their kids are able to essentially borrow against that account, and it's actually really good for the parents and for the kids. It's a mortgage against the account. I can talk to people about the details of it, separately. I'd never seen this before. It's 4.65%, which is pretty
So they were
awesome.
lending directly off of that, or that was like part of their,
No, it's just,
that's income?
Yeah, it's, what is it? JP Morgan Chase, you know? And it's just a program that they have for certain
They're wealthy people.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I had it happen too. It's a
Okay.
good deal if you've got 10, 15, $20 million in your account, that UBS or Chase, then they'll just.
Yeah. Or US, yeah.
Okay, so it's like not
Bank
the
and Wells Fargo.
No.
private-
I was like, this is not the norm.
Yeah, but it's also parents that, you know, I mean, you know, it's.
Also not the norm, though. It's not-
There's-
I mean, yes, this is a great like luxury like product, like absolutely.
Well, kind of. I mean, the parents are pretty conservative and the kids are buying a super conservative house. So yeah, I mean, it works.
Okay.
It was a unique situation. I think that's what's happening. I'm just seeing not just that, but I'm seeing a lot of people trying to find different ways to make this work. There's just enough pressure on the market that we're going to make it work. So.
I mean, when you think of it like this, right, and you're thinking of interest rates, right now, we just heard, I don't know, what was it, a week ago in our mastermind, there's a ton of multiple offers. So, I mean, it's not stopping that. Granted, that's probably some of the inventory, right, as well, but there's some inventory that's just sitting there. So how do you guys work through that or explain that to your buyers and sellers?
We just, before you stepped in here, like, it's so micro marketing. Like.
Yeah.
It's not good for years, 700 and 1,000,001. There's nothing available. Everything that comes off is
Yeah.
I don't know, like another South Metro at 500, there's a ton to pick from. So.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Well, moving on from mortgage rates. I mean, this is kind of what we talked about, right? Affordability. I mean, and where we're at on that. I mean, what do you guys think about this graph and how accurate do you feel like it is in regards to the last 5 years, right? I mean, you could go all the way back to the last 20 years. But I mean, affordability in regards to 2012 to 2020 was pretty low.
All I care about is close to the line. Close to the median line, right? I mean, we're not that far off.
Well, and it's coming back down, right? So it popped up when kind of everything went crazy and whatnot, and then it's coming back down, but.
Did he explain what stats he used in this index?
Yeah.
On there?
Yeah, what is this?
I don't remember. So go to the next one. I mean, it's gonna talk about everything, right? So it's gonna, next.
I don't think you're gonna see that for a
Do
while.
you know what slide I'm talking about? It's gonna just talk about affordability for everything, housing, like insurance. When it shows kind of the difference, do you know which slide I'm talking about? So I'd love to go to that.
That might be.
No, not in here.
Oh, was that it?
No, I don't think so.
Job growth and income.
They're not really in order, like when the way that he was talking about it, right? It might not even be in there. It was just talking about the things that went up in price point, right, for affordability. So when he was using that, it's things like even like pet care, right? Insurance. You're talking about all of the things like in life, like daycare. Those are all going up exponentially, and then the interest rates are going up, right? Which is like just shifting everything, right? So you could have, you know, a 3% interest rate and you could have a great house and everything else, but everything else was expensive.
Go back to that.
Yeah. I don't know what he included all in that, but that's kind of what it's regards to.
Insurance.
Yeah, there it is.
That makes a lot of sense. Because it feels, we were so far below the average for so long.
Well, it's trying to normalize right now.
Right.
Like, I mean, if you were to like project where it's gonna be, it's gonna come back down and hopefully, which I don't know who ever will, but like hover that line, right? It hasn't in how long ever hovered the line, but it at least kind of goes up and down on top of it, below it.
Cause I would have said it's way, way above the average.
Really?
Housing
It
affordability.
feels like it's way above the average right now.
You think that's because of
But
that?
I think it's just because it was so low.
Well, and I thought affordability with regard to housing was that,
What are you thinking of too? Like, look at the
purple line, right? So that's a feeling and that you're probably like, wow, it feels so above the line. And it is so above the purple line. Cause that's like the average between 2000 and now,
Oh, okay.
right? Whereas like historical average is actually the blue line. So when you think about the last 20 years, it is a lot higher and it feels a lot higher.
Okay, that makes sense.
You know what I mean?
I thought the 27% was the.
No, it's a lot higher than it was. I mean, when you look at it across the time frame that you're probably like mentally thinking about versus historically thinking about.
Yeah, cause like 50 years ago, it doesn't matter. I mean,
So I watched David Arbitt's last, market thing. It was talking about a third of general rule of thumb is that affordability for housing should be a third of your income or less, your take home. And then, the housing prices, the measure of affordability, should be about 3 times what the average income is. And here in Minnesota, we are kind of on track with that. And that would be close to what those numbers are as well. So if the average income is, 100,000, then your average home price should be about 300,000. And then
yeah,
your mortgage affordability, like that monthly payment for your house should roughly, they rule of thumb is a third.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
think that's
think about
I
it.
think that's old rule of thumb though, right? Cause I feel like,
Why would Arbits use it now?
I just feel like the other things in life have gotten so much more expensive that.
I mean, food, everything has gotten expensive. That's accurate, but I think that also depends on. This is my personal opinion, like, right, we want to do all of it still, even though everything's gotten expensive, you still want to go to the movie, you still want to go on vacation, you still, like, everyone still wants to do all the things and everything's expensive, food, plane tickets, pet insurance.
Chipotle for a family of 5 is $100.
I mean, real, right? Like, and that's supposed to be like fast, cheaper food, right? And that's not in what our realm is, that's not cheap. That would be like going out to sit down at a restaurant, get service, have all of the things, right? So I also think we were really spoiled for a certain amount of time, right? Like during the COVID time, like you got money put into your account randomly, people did, and then also everything was a lot easier to get. Like you could afford a house that was out of what you thought your price range was, right? And now it's coming back to this quote unquote norm. I don't know, but I think that's hard for people to understand, right? Okay, moving on. We really want to talk about this? No, I'll move. Unemployment though, this is one to look at, right? Because I think a lot of times, you think you follow this just depending on where the market's at and what you hear and if there's jobs available, if there's unemployment. This is not, I mean, besides 2020 and 2021, I mean, it's been consistent. If you were to put a line through that, it's pretty average since, I don't know, 16, which is 10 years. At like, the average would probably be what, 4.1. Next.
Wait, I want to ask a question though.
Yeah.
So we're seeing unemployment tick up just slightly. Do they say where that unemployment is coming from? Because I feel like we're seeing a lot of layoffs at Optum and 3M. So a lot of the white collar stuff, that 8.1 we saw back in 2020 was a lot of hospitality.
Yep.
That was people who restaurant, waiters and waitresses. Those are very different layoffs.
Well, I think part of this conversation is AI, right? There are some roles that are not quote unquote needed anymore because of AI. Like some of the administrative type stuff, right? They're like, hey, I can just get this all done through an AI bot, or I can do this, this, and this. I would imagine that could tick up even more because of that.
Massive spending, they cut a bunch of them that we're not doing anything. Sorry, not get political, but they laid off a lot.
Yeah.
They did have, I don't know, remember seeing it on the Connect, so you can get these slides through command, but they did have a slide of like, where is the hiring and where is the unemployment like coming from? And it was really interesting. So, but they did talk about, a lot of that stuff is, healthcare too, where, they're not seeing, those demands being filled as much. And for those of you that were at family, you could probably speak to this too, but they had the slide was interesting because it showed people, not the next, I don't know if I saw it on the Connect, but, it showed like, here's one that had historically have like looked for more jobs and they're behind, right? So not only are people not being hired in certain sectors, but we're actually behind on where we used to be as far as some employment areas. So you're kind of right on. So
Having kids in the employment age group of like coming out of college and them having friends and whatnot. It's interesting the perspective on what an out of college job should be paying though as well, right? So there's a huge like influx of like what I feel like I should get paid out of college and what is a reality of getting paid out of college, right? And a lot of that is like, well, fine, then I'll just go do this instead. Or stay out of I mean, you're shaking your head right now, right? There's a lot of like,
Oh, yeah.
there's an interesting dynamic in that where like, I went to 4 years, I should get paid X. And it's like, what? Yeah.
Joseph, my favorite youngest son, is graduating from the U in 6 weeks. So, and he'll be graduating with a computer science degree. And he tells me what he expects to be paid, and I'm just kind of like, oh, I can't wait to see.
You're like, that's nice.
I don't say anything. That's awesome. Wow, you can make that. But so I'm so excited. I'm so curious to see when he lands this job, and he's applying right now. And I'm so curious to see what he's going to get offered.
So having two people, if you guys wouldn't mind, right, like chatting a little bit about coming out of college. If you were to go into a job that you weren't, what do they put as the expectation of a out of college job and actual salary, right? Because I hear upwards of like 120 to 150 as an entry level job. And I was like, who is making that as an entry level job?
That would be the only time I've heard anything over 100 is investment banking.
Okay.
Which is just notoriously its own beast to wrangle.
Yeah.
But I would say probably the average expectation for somebody in like a professional services is about 80 out of college. Software might be around 100, but that's been really fluctuate. Like 5 years ago when people got into it, that was like the moneymaker. You're getting 100 and then 2 years later you're 150. Right now it's like kind of some apocalypse talk of like, well, AI is going to take all of our jobs. Wrote a bunch of code that doesn't work and now everyone's getting rehired. Might be going back to that 100 range. So it really depends. I would say it's about 80 is what people expect, but we've also had a huge boom of like everybody has to go to college. And so, well, it used to be a competitive edge. Now it's just the standard.
Yeah.
And so it completely kind of levels everything then again to, okay, so what else did you go do in college? And I mean, the two people in here, like I'm not here because I got something in my field. Yeah. Because there are a lot of things and there's a lot of stagnation and everybody is effectively on the same playing field now of like, yeah, everybody just goes to college and then everyone gets their master's paid for. And so I don't know. I mean, I think it's a larger question of production and wages on a historical sense. Like, I don't know what you guys, what other generations got paid right out of college, but it was such a different world of going to college. Yeah, like
I did not get paid 80. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, like tons of people I know, they get out of college and they work just wherever they can get a job. It's not in their field. Some people, a lot of people, it really comes down to sort of, what connections you have in college, if your parents work in that field, and then if you can get a job that's in your field and it's kind of what they talk to you about at first, you're probably going to be making some pretty good money.
But I mean, that's a great point to this conversation, right? Is like how many people come out of that actually go into their field versus not. And I mean, I think some of the schools have tightened out how many people get into each field, right? Because of that. So it's not like everyone gets to go into biology, everyone gets to go into this. Like they've actually kind of cut that down, where I remember when I went to school, you could just apply for whichever one you wanted to go to. And there wasn't really a limit, right? Which has shifted. Any other comments on that? Yeah.
I graduated in 2020. I have my degree in food science from the U.
Yeah.
Straight out of the science field, like it was kind of expected around the 60 range.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted more of that like 80 range, you had to get your master's or your PhD when it comes to like the science realm.
Yeah.
And even then, like for me, like it was kind of, I think you're told basically you have to go to college to get to 80, but 80 wasn't where I wanted to be either.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Wanted more.
How many years did it take for you to get to what you wanted to
Yeah.
be, and how like
And I have-
competitive the
I
ladder?
have 2 degrees, and like for me, because I was working the whole time too, it took me about 7 years to get my like bachelor's and my associate's. And so like that was like kind of a painful process. And then to get like 60 at the end of it, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Real estate.
So you guys, I think this is a really, and we can keep talking about this conversation, but do you realize what industry you're in right now? Like, I'm gonna guess that's a yes, right? We're all gonna say yes. What's the limit and what's the starting point for that? Like, when we're talking about this number especially, and that's why I like it, is because you're expecting something coming out of college, doing whatever. I went to college, I'm not doing anything within any way, shape, or form of my degree besides the psychology part with all of you. But you can literally make whatever you want in this business, in real estate. Like, it just depends on how much effort you put in and what your skill set looks like. And if you're always willing to keep learning. Like, that's what's beautiful about real estate, right? Like, you could be at 60, you could be at 20, you could be at 1.5 million. Like, you could be at any income you want. Rick, you had something to say.
Yeah, I was before, when I was working on my master's degree, I was an instructor at the Laborers Union Training Center, asbestos abatement and hazardous waste and that sort of stuff. And so in the trades, and I would at least half of those contractors, like right after they got licensed, were making over 100 grand, at least half of them. In all of these different industries. Some of them were relatively dangerous and nobody worked more than 8 months because all the work was seasonal. But the different unions, whether it be the carpenters or the 49ers, the transportation, the boiler makers, all of them, and I can't even imagine what it is now. It's just, that's going to go up. So the college shift might happen because of the need for trades.
It would be interesting to see this completely broken down, like you're saying, right? Like, the 8% was hospitality for sure. Like, during that time frame, right? Like, where is it going from there, right? There are layoffs in kind of all kinds of larger companies, but what's the trend for that? What does it look like for trades? What is it, you know what I mean? That would be a really interesting thing to look at. So we'll see if we can find a chart. I'm sure there's one somewhere that we could find in regards to that. Any other questions on, or comments on unemployment? Do you guys find this helpful, like, to talk about and just be able to like really go into the numbers? Cause I'm kind of a geek like this and love chatting about this a lot. And if you guys are like, this is stupid, you're still gonna do it, or you just gotta leave the room. But, Jackie.
The challenge is gonna be like anybody in, service professions like mental health or managing a restaurant or fast food. They're gonna maybe, if we're lucky, make 60,000, 65,000, and those people want homes too.
Yeah.
And so
The affordability portion
is a big deal, especially with like home insurance.
Yeah.
Going way up there.
Yeah.
We're only 17% higher than what
Yeah.
it was.
And those are things that we have to think about, right? Cause I mean, that's why people are still potentially renting, but renting isn't that cheap either, right? So I mean, like, in some form, it's all going to catch up and something has to level out, right? Like, either it's pricing or something has to level out in that way, or you're just going to see some pretty hard times, right? Good point. Next.
Oh,
That's
that's
my
my fault.
fault. That's okay. No.
Yeah, that was.
No, like,
I-
stop asking me to switch slides.
I know, I was at.
Oh, go back to that job opening. So this is interesting, right? So this is job openings versus unemployed people, right? So if we were to look at this, I mean, so here's the job openings, here's unemployed, right? So we were way over on, okay, we had a ton of jobs that were available. So in reality, this didn't necessarily need to, I mean, we had jobs that were there. Now all of a sudden we're shifting the other way. Right? Like, okay, we don't have as many job openings anymore or things that are available because people are either becoming, making their companies more efficient or kind of more streamlined, right? And now that's going up. That I feel like, I mean, what are your thoughts on that versus this? That's a little bit scarier of a ride for people, right? Mm-mm.
In fact, since we lost manufacturing jobs in this last month, kind of I can't see it get better.
So what does that mean for you guys, right? We're in this business as people, for people, right? If you're not checking on your sphere right now about things that are happening in their lives, that's not good. It doesn't even have to do about business, right? Like, check on your people.
That also means that people who do have jobs. So just shift your sphere.
Or you could do that.
Your water's
different. I mean, right, like there's opportunity out there, right? No matter what the opportunity is, hey, maybe they need to downsize because the mortgage is too much and the taxes is too much. Like, just check on people because that's why people move, right? It's not always like, oh, I want my dream home or whatever. I mean, it's death, job loss. I mean, it's the big ticket things that are happening, and it's happening. It's happening more than it was, quite honestly. So, all right, next. I don't think we need that one. Here's job growth right here.
Yes, you want it.
Kind of. So this is essentially like the basis of I mean, it just breaks down the change of employment by industry, right? So healthcare is actually up, which is interesting.
So that 482,000, so it's like, I can't remember, what did they say? That how much more they are expecting it to grow? Does anybody remember what he was saying about that? He really pointed out healthcare for
The
some
silver
reason.
wave.
Well, because I think it's that, right? Like they're going, like over time, you're going to need more healthcare with the aging population, right?
They're not, aside, unless you've got a master's degree and you're doing psychology or social work or
Yeah.
healthcare, because I work in an assisted living, healthcare jobs do not pay very well
Yeah.
unless you're at much higher level or you're teaching.
Well, you should check my therapist bill for my daughter because they're making a bank. Like that, get into that industry and you're like just printing money. But yeah, you're right. Like it really depends on where you're at in the healthcare system, right? Like
Just be realistic about it.
yeah. Well, I mean, think of even like when we're talking about aging community, think about a nursing home. Those that are in nursing homes, those that work in there are usually CNAs. That amount that they're making is not like the one doctor, the one nurse that's going around every once a day or twice a day, right? So it's very minimal, the amount they're making to take care of a loved one that all of us have, right? Like when you look at that, it's very shifted on where the money goes for healthcare. I mean, you're shaking your head. It's really interesting.
That's crazy.
Like when you break it all down and what, how that go, like how that all works out. All right, next slide, because we only have a few minutes. Well, this is interesting, right? So, I mean, I think this is kind of known, right? Where, I mean, the top 1% is exponentially getting wealthier, right? And kind of everything in between is going at the same rate. Good thing is it's not dipping like it did, when the crash kind of hit. But it's still exponentially going up. Any comments on this? I mean, this goes to your point. The people that have the jobs are making more money, right? I mean, I think about this. I think about when we were just talking about like salary or not salary or not profit driven or whatever. Like you get to put away whatever you want to do or whatever you want to with what you're making, right? When you have a constant, that's tougher to do, and that's why it's kind of like this.
Yeah, but you can also like, if you look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, it follows that exactly. So you could.
The investment side and yep. Okay, next. Do you need to know about this? Well, I mean, I guess we could talk about this a little bit. Do you guys want to talk about this? Like average assets and, you know, where they're at. Is this shocking to anybody?
I think he made a point of saying, like, if you look at, a lot of millennials and the average age of the first time home buyer is 40 years old now. And so that's interesting then to look at their,
I'm shocked at the baby boomer one.
I'm actually not shocked at that because I feel like millennials spend their money on other things.
What is it adjusted to?
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
They still live with their
Oh,
parents.
this is like
Yeah.
when they were.
They still live with their
And
parents.
they still live with their parents.
It's adjusted.
Joey's Gen Z.
It's adjusted.
Oh, not Joey. But I mean, no, not Joey. Joey is.
Joey's Gen Z. You don't get to count Joey as living at home with her parents.
My millennials don't live with me.
No, but
No.
you're good.
So I had this realization actually, I can't share, but a client of mine, is helping her parents buy, right?
50%.
And this is happening a lot, so I think you guys should listen. They have a set income, or they have a set what they already have saved or not saved, right? And there are a lot of people that don't have a large savings for their quote unquote portfolio that are in the age bracket of, hey, this is going to be my last home that I purchase, or I go into assisted living, right? And it's been interesting watching this transaction as the kids that are my age, right, are helping their parents. And they sent me the person's portfolio, right? Because they wanted to purchase a home and, you know, it was their proof of funds. And when you look at that, right, I looked at it and I was like, if they live another 10 years, that's going to be a really hard road. With what expenses come with a townhome or assisted living or whatever else, yada, 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 right? So that's another conversation that we should be having because a lot of times you're dealing with the child of the, you know what I mean, that's helping with those decisions, as well as just the financial burden that could go onto those kids. Because I think that's another piece that we don't touch on a lot, right? Like they're not just going to not pay for their stuff. Has anyone come up against this, or is it just me that has, I mean, right? Like there's a lot of, like in some generations, they don't have a lot of savings, right? And so what they're living on is their social security check, or you know what I mean? So that piece of it, what does that look like for them? And what does that conversation look like, right?
So this median, I mean, part of what is confusing to me is about how baby boomers hold the majority of real estate wealth in the country. And so people have been saying, you know, get to the baby boomers, but I'm looking at their median net worth.
This was
is
at age 30
not
though.
age 30.
This was at their age 30.
Oh.
So this is like,
this is
current.
no, this is age
That's-
30 balance sheet. Yeah,
I
they
get
were
what
age
you're
30
saying.
versus when
Okay.
Gen X was age 30 versus what you like.
Shocking to see how in
Yeah.
debt people are now.
Makes no
You what?
sense.
Yeah, right?
Biggest
Like,
take from this is how in debt we are compared to baby boomers.
Hold on.
Yeah.
But
Oh, this
when
is
baby
okay.
boomers bought, they bought and they stayed in it. And then they like, that was their asset. And they didn't go above their, like, I mean, you could open up a credit card at every store possible and you could go into debt real fast. And then all of a sudden you're paying, you know, 10 grand a month in just interest charges. And people are like, oh, I hate the 6% mortgage rate. You're like, you're paying legitimately 18% on a credit card.
If you look at the average mortgage debt though, it's almost double.
Yeah.
And did you point out the total debt? The total debt is really interesting just to see.
Well, that's over double. I mean, that could also go to college and schooling, and I mean, that's went up a lot in price point.
Well, I feel like culturally too, from when I hear my grandparents talk, like debt was not a good thing, and I feel like education on debt, it's like it's never been presented as like it's great and you should have a lot, but there's been a lot of encouragement by pretty much every force that you learn about, like take on more, keep taking on more, it'll fix itself eventually, like.
Because
You
someone else
just-
is
you
making money
leverage-
while you take on more. Like,
Leverage a little bit more and then you'll flip over the hump and be a millionaire.
yeah.
Obviously, that's not true, but like, it is definitely, I think, a cultural and perspective thing that gets taught.
Can I ask something of like anyone that's younger than me? How often do you have a dollar bill in your pocket, like actual cash in your pocket?
Almost never.
Besides you who works for cash. We don't, right? Like, I say this because my kids are like, well, just get, when they were younger, when they didn't know what it was called, they're like, just get that plastic thing out. I was like, that plastic thing does not have an infinite amount of money in it, okay? Like, it doesn't. And then when your kids get that plastic thing and realize the plastic thing has no money in it, and then they ask you to put money in it, they're like, oh. So I think the mindset even around money is very different. Like before, it was like you had a $20 bill, you take the $20 bill in and you'd get $3.50 of change back. Now it's like, shing, that's $25. Oh, that, like the mentality around spending is very different.
Right, so now you even just tap it too. And I think part of that's very intentional, like obscuring the value of what you own and, like, not like this just sort of accidentally.
And then we don't like looking at numbers as humans. So then we just don't look at the numbers. Then all of a sudden you're like, well, now it's a 0 and I'm going to look at that number.
Right, or a very big negative.
Right? So it's like, it's an interesting kind of, I don't know, maybe epidemic that we're in. I don't know what it is, but it's an interesting take. Okay, that's all we have time for today. I know. We could go on forever. These are all available. We'll also send them out, but they're available on Connect. And I would, anytime you have questions about these, I could like have conversations all day long. So if you want to like just chat about them, I'd be absolutely open to that. Let's end with wants and needs. What do we got for wants and needs?
I signed a new buyer who's looking under 300,000. Would love to have like a 3-bedroom townhouse, couple bathrooms on sort of Golden Valley, but so if you have something new coming on,
What price did you say?
300,000 or less, I think it'd be better for her to stay about 250, honestly, but.
All right, any other wants and needs? Yes?
Yeah, I'm buyer looking for something, north side of Lake Minnetonka, 3 to 5 million for a lot, 10 million for the.
Oh,
I don't know.
I mean, I will look for one for you. Like, I will find one for you.
Yeah, mailers out and all this stuff. Beat people.
So they're willing to build though.
What's that?
Willing to build.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Any other wants and needs, send to Lydia by 2:00 and she'll get those out. Always remember, we have the withhold sheet. You have to put your withholds in there. There is a wonderful questionnaire that you can put together, but then you put your information in and then it goes right into the spreadsheet. You don't have to do anything else.
And that's in every one of our wants and needs emails?
Yep, that's in every wants and needs
Right.
email, and then we can also look at that for reference, so you guys can figure out, can actually one of these all this potential open house, option. All right, have a good day.